And welcome back to another episode of the Kits at Heart podcast. As always, I'm Mike. I'm accompanied here by Em and Joe. And today we have a special guest with us. We've got Miss Rhea. She's a really good
Hi.
friend of mine and also one of the moderators at my Discord for the Mecha Girls Discord and with the Mecha Girl Modelers Facebook group. She's a very good friend, very knowledgeable, and we are lucky to have her here today. So welcome, Rhea. It's really good to see you.
Aw, I'm glad that you guys are having me here today.
How
Hello,
are you guys doing?
hello. Great, man. I'm doing good. Been buying more toys, and we're here to talk about toys.
Mhm.
And we're gonna try to convince Joe or Rhea or Mike or myself to get more toys.
Always more toys.
Oh yeah.
Always
Yeah.
more toys.
Never enough.
Never, man.
I
Joe, how are
agree.
you, man?
I'm doing very well. I'm excited to talk about some of the awesome model kits coming out of China.
Yes, sir.
And yeah, and also like just everything mecha coming out of China right now is incredible.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, it's really interesting what all is coming out. Like every day or like every week, there's like more and more studios popping up, more and more like sneak peeks, sneak previews behind the scenes. It's really fascinating.
It
Like how
is.
fast China is able to like, do all of this.
I feel like they're really making a name with like putting out some really good stuff out there, some original stuff too, which is great.
mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Not just you know, rehashings or reworkings of something else. It's like new stuff.
Yep. Yeah, it's very cool to see because like a while ago, right? Like a lot of the stuff coming out of China was usually direct knockoffs of existing things that weren't up to the same standard as the original. Like they were much cheaper, but they were much cheaper too, right? So,
Hmm.
but they have like the stuff, everything I've built that isn't like a Hexagear kit and isn't Gunpla has been just unbelievable. And like I have four more kits coming over the next little bit, like just stuff that's just like blowing my mind because it's not just a rehash. Like you can tell there's influences there from, it's like, oh, this is, you can tell that they took some design elements from this, but it's just their inspiration now instead of being like, a direct like reproduction. And it's just awesome stuff, like just incredible.
Oh, absolutely. I'd say the first girl plot kit I built was a kid from China from Easter Models. It was
Oh,
the ATK girl, Baihu, and she was a fantastic build. I wasn't sure what the quality was going to be like when I first put her together. I was like, this is going to be my introduction to girl plot, but like her design, I absolutely loved. The giant mechanical arms coming off of her back was just amazing, and it was a good build. It was a really good build. It's not the best that Eastern Models has done because it was one of the first kits that they put out, probably like what, like the third kit or fourth kit they put out. But from that point on, they started improving, and then I would say that other companies started coming in too and started like really improving and showing up, especially like MS General or Miss General,
Mm-hmm.
however you want to say it. It's just some really good stuff out there. And then like Joe says, it's like I am really excited to see more original mecha. Maybe mecha
Mm-hmm.
that are maybe kind of inspired because you saw it with like the Judge. He was like kind of inspired by, a Gundam, but was like his own thing. And I love that they gave him like different like V fins to not make him look too Gundam-ish, to make him a little bit more original, but you could have a V fin on there to make him look a little bit more towards that Gundam thing. But since then you started seeing more original stuff coming out.
Mhm.
It's like it's kind of Gundam inspired, but it's not like based off of like a pre-existing Gundam. Like I'm looking forward to that Thor mecha that
Mhm.
that, that came out.
oh yeah.
I've got him coming in from Gundam. I ordered him from there, and he should be on his way. And that
Yep.
one, I am very excited for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
100%.
was looking at the comparisons of like Thor versus like an MG, and oh my god, he is just huge. And it's
Hmm.
crazy how like cheap like they can make it. Like it's not just like, well, it's not that the materials are cheap, but like the price is affordable and yet still getting like such a premium quality build out of it. And actually, Mike, it's really cool to know that Baihu was your first Chinese girl placket because she was mine too. I was looking at her and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start with her first because like her whole cat motif, because cat ears, and also
Mhm.
like her arms, her mecha arms are just so cool, man.
It was a good, smooth build. It felt like there was no complications in putting it together, and like I was very impressed that the arms were sturdy and stayed up. And to this day, I
Yeah.
look at her on my shelf and they're still up. They're still I have them like up like over her shoulders, and it's still a fantastic model, like, even from like my first one from like a few years ago for a
It
girl
is. I love
claw
the
kit.
mecha arm gimmick. It's so fun.
hmm I think that one could have benefited from putting a little bit of LEDs in the lights in the palm of the mecha arms.
Yeah. I actually saw people putting it in like the back area where you can kind of see like the like exhaust thruster.
Mm-hmm.
They put in those like little fishing lights, so it's really
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Oh,
Oh, speaking of the
hello,
judge.
Judge.
Yeah, only because we literally just talked about it and it was one of the ones I'd pulled out. But yeah, so the judge sort of V-fin head sculpt they put on it,
Yes,
because
yes.
it was not totally, like just a V-fin, right? Like it's got this big sort of gem camera assembly on the head and stuff, and he's just, yeah, like it's really really cool. It's got like a metal frame for a lot of it. Like they're really really good, and simply because we were just talking about it, you know, it's, yeah. I thought I'd throw them in there first because I got that and the non-zero Knight of Dark Sky sort of at the same time, and they were both
Oh,
incredibly good builds. So I also
yeah.
have him ready to go because I'm pretty sure Thor is technically by the same company. They just
hmm
rebranded from being non-zero because zero gravity was, there's maybe some confusion there, but from what I can tell, it's actually the same as the Knight of Dark Sky, like that company. So I'm very excited for that because it, like, yeah. Oh yeah. Anyway.
hmm hmm Oh man, that Knight of Dark Sky is amazing. I mean, I kind of wish I would have grabbed him whenever he was a bit more widely available. Because I remember you showing yours off whenever you finished building it, and that is an incredible looking mecha. It's like a really simple looking kind of. It's not a simple design, but it's not like this overly complex design.
Mhm.
And I just absolutely love it. The colors just scream out to me. And look at that thing. It is just beautiful.
Oh yeah, I recall seeing that. I actually might be able to find one for you, Mike, so I'll hit you up.
Ooh, okay,
Oh,
okay.
do it, Mike. Do it
Yeah,
because it's
yeah,
so
because
good.
that's a great, great looking mecha. I love the design of that one.
And actually, I think this Night of Dark Sky was actually commissioned by Hobby Mio, because Hobby Mio is one of those like Chinese brands that
hmm
offer like hobby tools, so like nippers, sanding tools. They even offer paints and some compressors and airbrushes. So I think they actually commissioned Zero Gravity to make that kit for them.
Oh wow, wow. I'm
Yeah.
a fan of their acrylic paint markers. They make some, they're pretty much on par with like Display. I feel like, with the fine tip uh felt tip markers that they put out.
Yeah, I have a few Hobby Mio products myself, and my favorite ones are actually their sanding sponges because
Mm.
they're just really, really good. They're like on par with God Hand, if not better.
Speaking of Chinese studios and Chinese companies, I feel like for the longest time in this hobby, whether it is action figures or plastic model kits, when we think of brands, Japanese brands, they are usually the top,
Yeah.
right? And then after that,
hmm
action figures, it's American brands, So like today I'm really excited because we're gonna talk about Chinese studios, Chinese companies. Now my question for you guys, do you think that they are slowly taking over, or do you think that they have kind of taken over, and especially in the last few years? Mike, you mentioned that you have seen them improving, right?
Yeah.
And Joe, you were talking about how initially they were branded as like the knockoffs, right?
Mhm.
Like they would maybe make something at a much cheaper price, so people be like, hey, I want to get this Gundam looking kit, and it works. Some people, they can't really tell a difference, right? um yeah, before we talk about that, I'm just Rhea, I'm just gonna put you on the spot here. I want to ask you,
Sure.
what is your poison, because we're all in this poison wonderland. Just want to know, like, yeah, what's your poison?
I would say that my poison is anything that catches my eye. Obviously, I'm more into like mecha girls, mecha musume because I like to see these girls and like all these cool armor setups and weapons, and like I kind of like to imagine that like I can be like them too. And it's like for a girl, it's like really empowering seeing badass women
Mm,
like in all these cool suits and whatever. And I feel like, you know, anything that catches my eye, anything that stands out, it can be like, Chinese or Japanese or even like,
mm-hmm.
American if it's cool enough. So I actually have a model kit right here that is
Uh-oh.
from a Chinese brand called Nuke Matrix. And
Mhm.
when I first laid eyes on the prototype, because they have like all these conventions and expos where they show off like their upcoming products. When I saw the prototype for it, like totally uncolored, she just blew me away. And here she is. She is the Siren by Nuke Matrix.
Yeah.
Oh,
She oh
Yeah,
no,
that's
I feel it.
cool.
oh,
But she is
yeah.
just amazing and she has like a lot of shelf presence. Here she is in all her full glory.
So that's the one Nuke Matrix kit that I think I don't have yet, and I
Yeah,
really need to
she
get
is
her.
just amazing because like
Yeah, it,
like I've seen like a lot of musume kits and none of them have like come up with this teal. And
Hmm.
if I detach her real quick from the base, give me a moment here.
is it
She
hard
is
to
just
build?
gorgeous. Um, I wouldn't say hard. Uh,
Yeah.
like a lot of Chinese kits, she's undergated so that saves a
Hmm.
lot of time with cleanup. And the plastic on her is actually really good. And the instructions are easy to follow. I would say like, the only tedious part is like all the pieces for the tail because the tail
Yeah, this
moves sideways,
there are so many
moves.
segments to it.
It's
Oh,
crazy how
oh wow.
articulate the tail is. And like even her little side fins move. And
Hmm.
she has this little booster pack at the back with these fins.
Yeah.
So she actually has two modes. So this is I have her in her siren slash mermaid form, but the tail and this part actually combines
Mm-hmm.
into a shark. So you can have like her swimming alongside the shark. So yeah,
That
this
is
is
really
like
cool.
my favorite kit
That is good. Your favorite
China
kid
so
from
far.
China. Yeah.
Yeah, because like just how unique she is, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
hoping like they'll make more fantasy kits like that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. And um, what's it? Their Cyber Forest Fantasy line, I believe, is what she's in.
Hmm.
Is fantastic. I mean, the first kit that they put out in that with the long range assault Fox was just amazing. And
Hmm.
I would say like when doing the Eastern model stuff, I found like the quality of the plastic wasn't say like as good as say Kodo because I built like some Megami device and frame arms girls after I built my first Eastern model girl. And I thought, well, the quality is good, but it's not perfect. Like the Kotobukiya stuff isn't perfect. They're beautiful, but they do require work. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
to have them be to the level that you want it to be. Out of the box are not always great. But then I came across Nuke Matrix and building the Fox Girl, she was amazing. Absolutely amazing. It reminded me of the ease of build when I built, Baihu the first time, because like Rhea mentioned the undergating. And I am a big fan of undergating. I'd rather have the gates be somewhere you can't see or that won't discolor the rest of the kit. And sure, it may need a little bit more cleaning to be able to make the fitting just right. Because if you're not meticulous about the cleaning and undergating, your stuff doesn't fit together very well. But I mean, she was just a joy to put together to the point to where like she was the first time that I felt like I wanted to buy another one to build the same one again in a different form to have it side by side. And I mean, even going and building the first kit that Matrix put out with the was it the Angel Assault B? She's not as good as the Fox because she was their first kit. Plastic quality is a little bit less, but it's still a very good build. And both of them side by side on my shelf look fantastic. Absolutely love them. Absolutely love them. And then from that point on, I feel like, Nuke Matrix really started like showing me that that's where I started seeing the improvements and stuff.
Mm.
And then you had stuff like MS General that came out and was, just starting to blow away everything with the quality that they've been putting together with stuff. And then everything that Nuke Matrix and and MS General have been showing as new stuff coming out is just amazing. Like Rhea was saying, it's like every week we get an announcement
Yeah.
of like, new cool things that are gonna be coming out. It's like, oh my God, my poor wallet. And it's like, how am I going to afford all this? I was like, I've got stuff in my backlog to build, and you guys keep pumping out more and more cool kits.
Yeah.
It's like you're such a disruptor to the industry, especially like with the MS General when they started doing the seven deadly sins, like Anubis. Oh my God, he is so cool. You gotta show Anubis.
Oh, let me pull out Anubis here. Look at this, the size of this
Oh
thing
my
that
goodness.
goes with the first of their seven deadly sins of gluttony, which is an absolute beautiful, gigantic kit. I mean, this thing is amazing to where, you got an awesome girl kit that comes with it, but this thing alone is a build. This
Yeah.
thing alone
Wow.
is a build within itself.
Is
Yeah.
And
it bigger than a V Thor? Sorry, my
it's
is it
it's
taller than
about
the
on
V
par.
Thor? It's about the same
Uh,
size.
the thing is, I have him squatting, and he's about, like kind of like like his legs are bent a bit, and he's about as
Yeah.
tall as Vitor. To where
Oh
if I was to
wow.
extend the legs like further up, he's going to be taller than Vitor.
So
Wow.
basically, you bought a girl plug kit and you got a full other kit as an accessory because
Hmm.
technically gluttony was like the female kit was the you know technically the star of the show, except for the fact that that thing's insane
Oh,
because it's
absolutely.
and
Yeah.
it's not just a leftover bit of stuff that you kind of had there. Like I watched you building it and detailing like just all the stuff underneath the armor that you don't have to see, but it's there. Like it's yeah, they bang for your buck is
Mm.
just insane. And that's, like Rhea was saying too, like the entry point, like the price point is a lot better.
Oh yeah.
And like M was saying, like what do you think compared to let's say like a master grade? So for example, I have one of my favorite master grades with
Oh,
so
Alping.
so so you've got like the master grade dual Gundam, right? It was a great
Mhm.
kit. He's fancy. He's got a lot of neat stuff, has armor that you can take on and off. I loved it. I loved the design. Thought it was really, really cool. And at the time I was like, it's kind of expensive, but it's an awesome kit. It had a lot of stuff. Then you've got Motor Nuclear. This was the same price. So like
Wow.
this like the kit itself is taller than a master grade by a little bit. Metal frame. Um, the dragon, like end to end, is 3 feet long and has effect parts, and you've got multiple weapons, tons of hands, and for the exact same price as like locally anyway, as a master grade kit, right? Like because I got this from a local or I got my dual Gundam from a local hobby shop, uh, you know, 10 years ago, and
Mm.
is this like cheaper than it, and you've had inflation happen.
Hmm.
So it's just it kills me the stuff in here. And if you're, somebody who isn't the best painter, like all of the gold that you see on there is comes pre-painted. All the little red details are all pre-painted. Like so they do so much for you that it's insane, right? The color
Mm.
separation is bananas. They're beautiful. And like I panel lined it, but that's the only paint I put on it, right? Like they're insane, right? And like the dragon again, much like Anubis, is like a full kit on its own that
Hmm.
you could buy, uh, you know, probably for $80 if you really, really wanted, right? So
I would say that if anybody wants to do that, they want to do like this combination of a girl kit and they want like a mecha with it. MS General is fantastic with it because they've had some of their girls that have, that have full on mechas with them. Like one
There's
that's got
the
like a,
Tiger Girl.
yeah, then you have what's, I can't remember her name, is the one that comes with the giant bird. And
Huang Zhong.
yeah, yeah, Wang Zhang. She's got and I've heard it,
Ma Chao,
like
my favorite.
I've heard, that bird be, said to be like it feels like a Zoid, putting together a Zoid. Like you got like a Zoid kit with a girl kit, and I feel like and they're not as expensive as some of the stuff that's coming out. And I will say one thing that I really love is that availability. It's like this stuff, you may find it selling out maybe in the beginning, but they always come out with more in the production. It's not like they ever
Mm,
become like real, unless it's been a while since it's been put out. They're not hard to find, and they're not like freaking expensive, and you're not worried about them selling out like within minutes of them coming out or in a pre-order. There's always places that carry the stuff, and then they always end up coming up with, you know, refreshing and coming up with restocks of this stuff. So I feel like, not only in the price point, but the availability of, a lot of these kits coming out from China is fantastic. And I highly recommend, a lot of these kits, like, especially MS General. MS General has just been is amazing. I've only built two of their kits so far. I've built Gluttony, and I built the Ox. The
Same as me.
and Ox, she was my first one that I built, and she's beautiful. Fantastic. Fantastic kit. And I love, love, love that they give you two versions of her in one kit. You build her fully armored up with her weapons, and you can build her like casual as like a blacksmith, and it's fantastic for the price that you pay for that. You feel like you're getting what you're paying for with that,
Mm.
and not just
mhm,
an exclusivity or, paying a price where you have to order something directly from, say, like from Japan or something.
mhm,
You're getting what you're paying for, with a lot
yeah.
of these kits.
Yeah,
And
the,
Yeah.
not only that, I also feel like, especially for MS General, their plastic quality and the molding detail is on par with Bandai. When I first built my
Hmm.
first MS General kit, which was Ox, same as you, Mike,
Hmm.
I was just blown away by like,
Hmm.
how solid the plastic was, how everything fit. And it's like, wow, they really are like, a disruptor to like, the whole like
Hobby.
collectibles and like
Hmm.
plamo hobby.
Hmm.
And it's like, it's a really good and welcome disruptor because like, things cheaper and better. It's crazy.
Hmm.
Yeah. I feel like apart from the price and the availability, I think the rate of production, that's like it
It's
scares me,
crazy.
I'm like,
Hmm.
wait, what? Especially, when it comes to Joy Toy, right? Like,
Oh yeah, yeah.
okay, so like this is one of my first Joy Toy, a Mac. And you know, they've been releasing those Warhammer 40K
Hmm.
figures like almost every other week, right? So I
yep.
was thinking, man, for me, I'm not really into 40K. So I'm like, is there something else? But they are always coming up with new things. When it comes to action figures, they're always coming up with new things. They're always innovating, being very creative. So Rhea, like you say, they are the disruptor of this hobby, which is good. I mean, I like it. It kind
Yeah,
of forces, um other companies to think out of the box. Like, hey, what else can we do? Right?
definitely. And looping back to what we brought up originally, like, how um a lot of us when we started off with this hobby or like, when we were growing up, we hear like, China is always full of bootlegs and knockoffs
Hmm.
and they're not original. But you'd be surprised at like, how much originality is being pumped out into like, these products. And like it's not just like, like randomly thought up, like it actually feels like a labor of love, especially like, the Siren Kit. And I also have another one, which is my newest acquisition, my newest waifu. So
Hmm.
this is by a company called Snail Shell, and they specialize in 112 scale action figures. And
Mm,
this was my very first one, and I am just in love with her.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
this is Snail Shell Assassin Girl, and she is just a original design. Like they just commissioned a artist and they were like, okay, draw whatever you want. And he's like, okay, I'm gonna draw me a really cool assassin girl with like a lizard tail and like, this spine part. This is so cool. And the quality, it just blows me away. I believe she is on Gundamit for around 80 USD, which is crazy because her quality, she is just so solid. Like I can just do this. Like she's not moving at all. There's no wonkiness. The hair gradient, the hair sculpt is beautiful. And her eyes are actually like doll eyes. They're inset and you can
Oh.
actually pose them. So it actually comes with this little tool right here. I can actually show it to you guys real quick. So if I pop off her hair and get to the faceplate, let me show you guys here. There's actually these little sockets,
Oh my
and they
gosh.
give you this tool, this little tool that lets you insert it into the eyes, and you can like move it around, so you can like pose her. So you could do like a lot of
Wait,
different
what?
expressions.
That's
Yeah.
yeah, that blows
Wow.
my mind. How is that
Wow.
a thing? Like,
So if
okay.
I have her like this,
Yeah.
so I can make her look your
Yeah.
way. So let me do that real quick.
Wait, because usually people they give you like the different faces, right?
hmm
To that you
Yeah.
can change. But right now it's like you get the same face, but you can
You just
oh my
pose
god.
the eyeballs.
And it
Wow.
just like
Like who?
adds another level of playability. And
Yep.
like I've never seen this in like this small of a scale, like bigger,
Mhm.
like those more traditional collectible dolls, like the ones that are like um 2 feet high. They have those like
Hmm.
glass inside eyes that you can pose around, but this one, it just blows my mind. So I just put her eyes back, so like she's looking forward, and then actually comes up in her faceplate. So like there's like a serious one and a sad one.
That's
So
see,
Wow.
yeah, that's insane.
crazy.
Cause yeah, like the Nuke Matrix kits and a lot of the Girl Plus stuff have multiple faceplates that, have different expressions, different eye positions, and then usually, or at least with the new Nuke Matrix ones, they also came with a bunch of blanks that you could put the decals on, right, and kind of do your own thing. But like to have posable eyeballs on like a 112 scale action figure is
It's just
insane.
crazy.
It
And
is.
Like,
also, not only do you get like the girl figure, like she comes with the different face plates, she comes with a lot more. So I actually have the box right here. She comes with a few weapons, and I haven't taken it out of the blister yet. But the main star of the show, I feel like this is really this like how you tell that you get like your bang for your buck. Like she comes with a premium stand, so this is the base.
Mm.
And
Oh,
one thing
wow.
cool is that like all these small kids, you have all these like small little parts, all your hands and like your weapons, and the base actually pops
Can open
off,
up.
and there's a little storage compartment, so you
storage
can
in a
just put.
base. I love that.
It's
Yeah.
Wow.
crazy.
Yeah.
So I really do think like um with the innovations that like China is having in these products, I feel like they're going to be standing like shoulder to shoulder with like the Japanese products, because
Hmm.
I see a lot of these Chinese products like Snail Shell, Joy Toy, they're being sold on Japanese sites as well, like Ami Ami, Hobby Search.
Hmm.
You can find them there, and what's even crazier is that like they go for around or even more than the same price as Japanese products because of import tax, and also like they just are on a whole nother level, I feel.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, the quality is bananas, right? Because like again, out of all of these kits, like I haven't found anything yet, and I've been disappointed multiple times with you know Bandai stuff, or these sort of big established companies that aren't coming out of China, that haven't put out stuff that's quite as good, and like you were saying earlier too, Rhea, is that it's like a labor of love, right? Like these people are making stuff they really want to see themselves. Like my a lot of my collection is third party Transformers, which when that scene started, a lot of it was add-on kits,
Hmm.
but and there was a bunch of knockoffs and stuff too, but there are so many like designs that these companies have made that you can tell it's people who were fans who wanted to see a toy of the quality that they wished Bandai, or not Bandai, Hasbro and stuff like that was, right? And I feel like it's the same thing with a lot of these kits, right? Like these motor nuclear kits are like they're cheaper than a reprint premium Bandai kit that's just a GM with different colors,
Hmm.
and if I want to do that, I'll just buy a GM and paint it. But it's way more money, and then it's impossible to get. And but like Mike was saying too, they keep re-releasing stuff. Like real quick, Sal Ren here. Oh no, my camera's off.
Oh,
Look at me go.
I've I've actually been tempted to get yeah, been tempted to get him because he is just so cool. Like the grading on the wings is
Yeah,
just
it's
so
incredible.
pretty.
Absolutely incredible. So they, I got it sort of with like one of the first runs, but they're putting them out. You know, Gundam It and Show Z have gotten restocks on it because it's a really good kit, and Motor Nuclear realizes that like this is some pretty good stuff, right? He's way back there, but I have like one of their like 172 metal builds, which is gigantic. I couldn't pull it down because it does not fit in the frame of anything. Like it takes up half the screen back there, right?
Yeah.
But they're releasing a model kit version of him that's a bit different, and I have that on pre-order because it's incredible. But yeah, like they're just insane. And like the Sao Ren design was actually, I think when Motor Nuclear, or at least the guys behind it, originally released some stuff like this, was supposed to be essentially like a resin upgrade kit, like the design for a Barbados, right? So like there was a lot of like, this kind of thing. And then the neat thing too, compared to like their big metal builds, is that they they have redone a bunch of the actual aspects and stuff of them. So like the yellow dragon doesn't have a dragon form and has a lot of like visual differences that they've just they've shrunk the scale down a little bit and completely changed some design elements. And they're just like, yeah, I could go on for hours about these things. Like if you haven't tried a Motor Nuclear kit yet, you have to.
I am
That's
very tempted to.
that's on my list of like things I want to get. I mean, I just have so much in my backlog right now that it's hard to justify buying everything I want. I have to like pick and choose the things I want. Doesn't help matters that, we've been getting into action figures lately with like
Yeah.
Action Force and whatnot. Really that cuts into my model,
Yeah. Remember when Mike wasn't into action figures, and
Yeah,
then
remember that? Like
2
way long
episodes
ago.
ago, now suddenly how many do you have now, Mike?
Oh, don't even
Too
ask
many.
me.
Too many.
They've multiplied like rabbits.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they honestly did. They honestly did.